Hey there, NASCAR fans! Have you got your copy of the latest edition of NASCAR Pole Position Print Magazine? If not, there's no better time than now to subscribe at polepositionmag.com. NASCAR Pole Position is the only print magazine covering NASCAR. Officially licensed by NASCAR, NASCAR Pole Position Magazine is published throughout the NASCAR season, and each edition is an instant collector's item, packed with great feature stories and photography. The magazine is even mailed to you in a poly bag for those who love to collect NASCAR memorabilia. At polepositionmag.com, you can even find past issues available to purchase. Get your subscription to NASCAR Pole Position and get great NASCAR content delivered straight to your mailbox throughout the season. Learn more at polepositionmag.com. That's polepositionmag.com.
Eric Estep here. One of my favorite parts of being a NASCAR fan is collecting diecasts. It's how I got my start on YouTube, actually. To me, a room is not complete until it features shelves of NASCAR diecast cars. It's as good a time as ever to continue your collection or begin an all-new one by pre-ordering your favorite driver's 2022 Next Gen diecast at lionelracing.com or at any authorized Lionel retailer. Lionel is the official diecast of NASCAR, and don't miss Lionel Racing's NASCAR Authentics diecasts at a Walmart or Target near you. Not only is Lionel the official diecast of NASCAR, but they're also official supporters of the Out of the Groove podcast network. So what are you waiting for? Head to lionelracing.com to order your favorite driver's 2022 diecast.
Welcome to another episode of the Moonshine and Motorsports podcast. I'm here on location at the Museum of Ashe County History, and I'm about to sit down with Andrew Cole, the director of the museum, and also local historian and lifetime resident, Jerry Brown. I hope you enjoy our conversation. All right, well, guys, just to start off with, introduce yourselves and tell me your connection to the museum here.
My name is Andrew Cole, and I'm the director of the Museum of Ashe County History.
Okay.
Jerry Brown, I'm just a board member.
Just a board member?
Yes.
Well, from what we've been talking about beforehand, before we started recording, I don't think you're just a board member. Now, tell me about the museum here. How long has it actually been up and running?
I forgot what year we moved over here. The museum's been in another location, and in this building we've been here, I guess, 20 years. Yeah, I think about 2006 is when they moved over.
Yeah. And this is the old courthouse.
It is.
Okay.
It was slated to been torn down, and finally got it saved, and we got the commissioners to allow us to put the museum here.
Okay. All right. Now, you were telling me that you are not from Ashe County originally.
I'm not. I am from Duplin County, North Carolina.
Okay, all right. How did you wind up with this role?
I came up here for college, like so many people do. I wanted to change the scenery, so
Now, where'd you go to college?
I went to Appalachian State.
All right.
Over in Boone. And
my son just graduated from there, and I've got another one with a year to go.
Okay, yeah, it's a great school. Has grown a lot since I've been there, but long story short, I was looking for a place to volunteer and found this place and started making the commute from Boone over here, and then did an internship here, and then like so many others, did what they call the boonerang and left after graduation, and then kind of circled back around at the right time. So right time for them to hire a new director.
All right, so you came to Ashe County specifically for this role, or were you already here?
I was already here.
Okay.
Yep. I came back. Yep.
And how long have you been here?
Oh gosh, I think we moved back 2020.
Since you're so much younger than I am. I'm proud of it.
Evidently.
Now, tell me about you. You grew up here in Ashe County.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So far, I have been here my life so far, and hoping to spend the rest of it here.
Okay.
But very interested in local history. Been following history and genealogy and whatever for many, many years.
Now, how did you get into history?
I believe there's a certain time in a person's life when they're kind of young, and all young people look forward. And I think at a certain time in your life, you start looking behind you.
Yeah.
And that kind of triggered everything, wanting to know why, where, and how come, and so forth. But the answer to that is just a lot of research. So local history is kind of my thing. So
Now, I would assume this isn't your, I would assume that Ashe County historian is not your full-time position. What do you do full-time?
I am retired.
Okay.
And so it's pretty much full-time right now. Just I do history every night at home, looking up stuff and recording it, and things of interest.
Everybody who has anything to do with history, for whatever reason, they have a passion project. My passion project is to preserve the NASCAR newspaper that I used to work for, Winston Cup Scene. Andrew, what is your passion project here at the museum?
As of lately, I got into history because of Civil War history.
Okay.
My dad used to take me to all kinds of battlefields and museums and things, and we'd sleep out on the battlefields during living history events and stuff. But now that I'm older, I've got a lot more interested in a little bit of like environmental history and just how basically industry and economy and things as simple as, say, a train, for example, here in Ashe County can change the economy, can change the landscape, and kind of shape the world and shape or basically make or break a community, and how that's happened. I'm really interested in that, and a lot of the New Deal history, things like the Civilian Conservation Corps and WPA and all the projects they did in the 30s and 40s and here in the Appalachians.
How about you?
The passion basically would be Ashe County history, preserving it for the future. It seems like the young people in our school systems really don't deal with it a whole lot, and somebody's got to write it down again and be accurate. And so accuracy is very important to me. I was also a member of Civil War reenactment group for quite a few years, and we did a lot of reenactments. Was fortunate to do a reenactment on Saltville, Virginia battlefield where one of my great-great-grandfathers fought, and it was pretty amazing.
Now, are you allowed to say reenactor? I thought it was living historian.
I'm still a reenactor. So.
And to kind of counter what Jerry was saying, we do see a lot of school groups come through here, and it's good. They study the broader American history, but some of them don't know the history in their own backyard, and so I think that's one of the reasons this museum is. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I think Ashe County has a great museum here, and it's just good that kids can come in and kind of see their relatives here and the history they made. History is made up by individuals, and they can see their grandfather's name down in the Veterans Hall of Honor, or they can see their dad in the mining exhibit, or they can see their town on the Virginia Creeper exhibit that we have down there. So I think that's really important to go along with what Jerry was saying about keeping things local.
Well, I've noticed that there are some younger folks here today. I mean, you're very busy today. This isn't what I would call an interactive museum in the sense that there's a lot of bells and whistles and interactive videos and all that kind of thing, but there's also not a lot behind glass. So you're really just being in the courthouse, you're literally immersed in the history here. So I think that's extraordinary. I think that's very cool.
Yeah, we try purposely to leave some things out that kids can touch and pick up. For example, in the railroad room, Jerry was a big part of putting together the Virginia Creeper exhibit, and there is a bell and whistle in there they can ring, and there's a basket full of coal that they can pick up. Yeah. In the schoolroom, we left some old school books out for them to flip through, and they can write on the chalkboard. And you're right, what good is we don't want to put anything priceless out there where they can handle it, but it's good for kids to kind of come and be able to kind of flip through some things and kind of feel like they're in that time period a little bit.
The Virginia Creeper exhibit, is that the model train? And you were telling me before about you actually built that, and tell me again how long you were involved in that.
We got a group up with that project in mind, and we had about 12 guys, and they all volunteered. So we had a goal, and we collectively we spent over 7,000 hours on that display. We would do it here at night when everybody got off work, and we had some local people that would come feed us, and we did it till we got finished, and we tried to make it as 100% as accurate as possible. The towns, we even went and measured buildings and built the models on scale to those buildings, and so we could get the exact look. And we spent a long time on the accuracy of it. It's what really took a long time.
I guess the reason I'm here is you guys also have a music and moonshine exhibit. Is that the correct term?
It is.
Okay, all right. How did that come about?
Well, after we finished the train room, there was some more rooms that we talked about, some permanent displays, and the moonshine, of course, came up because that used to be a big part of the pre-war economy at that time. I guess that's the best way to say it. So we knew about
pre-war against terror.
Things was pretty slim here during the Depression and before World War II, and money was impossible to come by. And to be totally honest, everybody, and still do, most everybody, drinks some sort of. So if you're growing it in your garden and you can sell it, that's what they did until Mr. Government stepped in the early 20s, and he wanted to get a cut of it. So kind of slowed it down. It's not stopped it, but it's slowed it down.
All right. And the music side of it, because when you think of moonshine, you think of the stills and the moonshine, haulers, the makers, the distributors, the bootleggers, but you also think of music, because there's a soundtrack to that.
The people that you're talking about in these haulers, and the original ones that came over from the other countries, Ireland and Wales, and they had their own type of music, and they brought it with them here, and that's what you could hear coming out of the haulers. And the still was prevalent, and most every hauler had one or two. It just went right along with it, music and moonshine.
Now tell me about the exhibit specifically. You told me that you got the steel. It's an actual steel that was busted up at some point.
It a sheriff we had, his name was Mr. Bear, and his uniform was actually there in the room. He obtained that steel, and we found out where it was located. So that's what we based our display on. We went to a local junkyard and found a 39 Chevrolet and cut it in two and put it in the display. A couple of mannequins as the Moonshiners, and everything around it. The steel is an actual working steel. It would work right now if you put the right ingredients and heat to it. It would produce.
Well, all right.
It would produce and go along well with barbecue.
We save that for fundraisers.
It has the actual raccoon bone parts. Everything is authentic in that room, and we were very proud of how it ended up.
All right. And the music, you've got a couple of displays. One specifically to a local legend, I guess.
Do you want to speak on those, Mr. Whittier? And
there's a couple of different musicians in there that are either lived in Ashe County or from this region. You got EC and Warner Ball. They're part of the Friendly Gospel Singers. We have their actual accordion that she used in there, and some of their records. Probably the most prominent one in there is probably Henry Witter, who's probably one of the most famous country musicians you never heard of. But he actually participated in the Bristol recordings.
Okay. Wow.
Along with the Carter family and people like that. He was actually born in a town called Fries, Virginia. It's spelled Fries, but it's pronounced Freeze.
Well, it's freeze in the winter and fries in the summer.
Exactly. But little mill town up in Virginia. But he eventually did relocate here to Ashe County, and he's buried here in the Healing Springs Cemetery. But he recorded a lot of songs that you might have heard of, but didn't know that he recorded things like the Wreck of the Old Number 7 and She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain, Tom Dooley, all these classic Appalachian tunes that you know and love. He was one of the first people to record them. And that was a big deal back then, because what you're doing, a lot of these songs from here in the Appalachians, they have been passed down generation to generation orally. And so if you want to hear Appalachian music, you have to come to Appalachia. And so once he recorded it, now you're taking that, I guess some people would term it hillbilly music, and you're basically sending it out around the whole United States. And so, like I said, he was part of that famous Bristol recording session that took place over in Bristol, Tennessee. And if you go there to the Birthplace of Country Music museum there, he is listed in there. Also have Jack Reedy in there, and we hope to kind of continue that. And as we move forward, we want to eventually start kind of switching the musicians out. I don't know if a lot of people know this, as we mentioned at the beginning of the interview, but we're sitting in the 1904 Ashe County Courthouse. A lot of people don't know that this courthouse, before there was an Ashe Civic Center, this was kind of the Civic Center for Ashe. And so when there were musicians that came through here, for example, the Carter family, or Uncle Dave Macon, or D. Ford Bailey, Dillmore Brothers, they played here. And there's evidence in the Skyland Post newspapers to attest to that. There's about 6 musicians that played in this courtroom that are now in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And so we have a big musical legacy up here in Ashe County, and that's something we want to keep promoting.
All right. Well, last question, I guess. I used to work up in Allegheny County, and people used to give me a hard time about being a flatlander. And even though I was there a couple of years, I don't know that I was ever accepted into the community. Has he been accepted into the community?
Oh, yes. Yes, he's part of the community. He sure is.
I appreciate that.
He's not serving some kind of tenure trial period or something?
He's through that. He's spent enough time. He's good. He's good.
Thank you.
All right, good deal. Anything else you'd like to get across?
Come visit the Museum of Ashe County History. During the summertime, we're open 6 days a week. That's Monday through Saturday from 10 to 4. And starting on January 1st, from January 1st to April 1st, we'll be open 5 days a week, Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 4. So the museum's free. If you happen to find yourself here in the high country, come by and see us.
Folks, I don't know about you, but this is just an absolutely incredible facility. If you're ever in the high country, you owe it to yourself to come by and visit this place. And even if you're not planning to be here, make plans. It's that special a facility.